Cool. Hey folks, I'm Joshua, and this is another, I guess, episode of Lunch Break Roguelike, where I make a roguelike over my lunch break, 1 hour at a time, one lunch at a time. So I'm trying to see if I can keep this up for the entire week, and if it's something I can continue in the future, because I think it's a fun little project. It is open source, so if you go to github.com/Joshua Skelly/lunch break dash or lunch dash break dash RL, you can see the code. This isn't really structured as a tutorial per se, but I do put tags in for every episode. So we're starting here at episode 3. So you can always do a git checkout EP 3, I think, or yeah, EP 3, and that should get you to where I'm at right now if you want to follow along at home. But you don't have to. All right, so where did we leave off? Let's open up a command prompt. Let's go to our repositories and lunch break RL. Okay, cool. I'm up to date. Let's do a python python game.py. This should launch up in our console window. We have our little @ symbol, and we can draw. Like here, I'm gonna draw that little cave for him. Ooh, it's a spooky cave. And we do have collision detection hooked up so he can navigate the cave, which is cool. Let me see. Gunner Alive 12 says, "What is this?" Well, you just missed it. Or I guess I'll reintroduce. So I'm doing a small roguelike game project over my lunch breaks. So this is the third one, I believe. Fourth one? Today's Thursday. Goodness, this is the fourth one, and we're making a little roguelike game in Python using the TDL library. Cool. So let's pop open our code and start taking a look at things. All right. Let me situate the panels here so you can actually see. There we go. Nice. Cool. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, my normal stream is on Sundays at noon. I am the artist for a game called Delver, which is a real-time procedural dungeon crawler with fantasy, roguelike, and first-person shooter elements. And this is just a small stream I'm trying to do daily, or at least week daily, that breaks up my workday, which is kind of fun. Let's go. So I sent out a call for suggestions last stream, and Evram suggested start working on maybe an entity system, kind of branching out kind of what that means. So if you notice, the player right now just inherits from object, and it's really the only entity we have. And it would be nice to support like monsters and items and all the kind of stuff that roguelikes normally support. And I think I'm just going to use some classical inheritance just to kind of build this stuff up. So let's just make a base class, new file. Let's call it entity.py. And this is just going to be our base class. So class entity, type of object. And let's give it a constructor. Sure, why not? Probably no parameters. Let's just stub it out for now. And trying to think. Entities should all have a similar interface, so we know how to work with just a base class entity. I'm trying to decide, like, do we need to make a difference between a drawable versus a non-drawable entity? But I don't think we're going to worry about sound this time around. So let's just assume they're all drawable entities. So let's say def draw self and console and pass, and def update self. I think the player has an update method as well, right? Yeah, nothing happens there. But the level has an update, or no, has a handle events. Yeah, eventually we'll put some implementation stuff in here. Pass. So if everything is drawable, everything needs a representation. So at the minimum, say we could implement just a very basic draw, and that would be would be simple enough. So that means entity should probably take a char fg equals 255, 255, 255. Pretty sure that's the default. And background is 0, 0, 0. Just add some default args there. And self dot car equals car, self dot fg equals fg, and self dot bg equals bg. And then for our draw, we can just simply say console dot draw char, and then char fg bg. Cool. So now let's split this out, and then over here, so we have entity, and some of this stuff we're already doing. Yeah, I guess also we need a concept of a position as well. Character, and let's say position, and self dot. And then I guess we can have defaults for this one too, which is fine. Cool. And then this will be self draw char at self dot position, self dot car, and self dot fg. Come on, Joshua. PyCharm has spoiled me in all the autocomplete stuff, but yeah, there we go. So draw character at our position of our character in our foreground and background. So what this should allow us to do is allow us to subclass entity. So import entity. And then this is a entity.entity. And in our init, we just need to say super dot init, and we are the @ symbol. And I think we're also establishing that we're red right now, but that's okay. So I'm just going to say that comma foreground equals 255 comma 0 comma 0. In Python, what you can do is if they're optional, you can pass them in using this this attribute equals syntax, which means I don't have to pass in position. I can skip right to the foreground, and then the default position will be used, which is handy. So this should call this should call the constructor of our entity class with these params. And also this check here we probably need to move over to. So just simply we need to say if self.position in console. This is just seeing if the character we want to draw is on the is within the bounds of the console. Draw it. Otherwise, we don't need to. And now actually, we can get rid of the player's draw method, because our this base class, or the super class, however you look at it, provides the draw method for us. So that's a nice thing we don't have to worry about implementing anymore. And basically, it makes it easy for us to start creating entities and just kind of have them just live. So this should work. Let's check out our scene and just kind of make sure things should be fine. So we're still importing player, and we're creating a new player. That's fine. Let's see what errors I've made. Oh, that's working. Cool. We can still draw this. We still have collision, which is good. Nice. There we go. Cool. So yeah, the refactor went just fine. Okay. Let me see. And I think I also want to Oh, Miak757 says, "Hey, I own that cup." This one or the one behind me? Probably this one. This is the one you can actually see. Cool. So it would be nice to, because right now, I mean, the player is a specialized version of entity, but entities could also be like items, right? So maybe we should add a little bit more. Let me open up Photoshop and just kind of think, like, take some notes and try to think about how I want things to look. Open or is new. Where's my? I don't want custom. I want just a nice. Give me. I just want an A4. There we go. Great. Cool. So what I want is I want an entity. Let's turn on. Get a little fancy. There we go. An entity. And from entity we have item. And NPC maybe? That implies it's a non-playable character. What about, because this is basically, right now I'm trying to draw like this line between, maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. This like, not alive and alive. I'm not sure that's a good division, but I'm thinking like this could be like biped, or not even more generic than that. Like, man, what's a better term for this? Like, not dead. Oh, so I mean, actor is super generic. A lot of times these entity and actor are interchangeable, so I want to avoid that. Naming things is hard and stupid. Monster, but it would look weird if player is also a monster type. I wish there's more folks in chat to help me out, but let's just call it I guess character. Which is okay, I guess. And then player can derive from that, maybe. Maybe. Let's try that. So try to think of organizational stuff too. So let's add real quick. Let's create a new folder. We're going to call it entities. We're going to put the entity.py in there. In entities, we're going to create a new file called underscore init underscore.py. And this basically tells Python to treat this like a package, so we can do import statements. So if you wanted to make this run real quick, we'd have to say from entities, import entity. And that should be fine. I think this is the only place we're actually using entity. Yeah. Cool. So now we can say in our entities pack or module, however you want to look at it, module, we can create a new file called item.py and create a new entity or new file called, let's say, character.py is what I called them, for lack of a better term. And they are just going to simply, right now, there's going to be a simple import entity. I think they're relative to this, they're okay. So entity and class item is an entity dot entity. And right now we can just pass, which means we're not going to implement the class. We're just going to say we have a new class that derives from entity. And the same thing from character. We can say import entity and class character entity dot entity. Pass. And we should be able to update our, we should be able to make our player now from entities dot import character. And then the player is now a character dot character. This should work. So it's complaining about, yeah, the no module named entity. Entities character. Import entity. Yeah. I still might need to do something like from entities import entity. I might need to do it that way. Or maybe relative. Can I do import dot entity? Let's try that. Yeah. Yeah, let's just do from entities. This should work. We'll see. Nope, that's still complaining in class character. Oh, because how did I goof up my? I keep goofing that up somehow. There we go. Okay, that structure is looking okay. And what it might be nice is, let's say like right now we have, let's put this over here, because right now character doesn't do a lot. Like entities know how to draw themselves, and that's cool. And what if we said that all characters knew how to move? Yeah, thanks for the pointers, Avram. I can't remember. Yeah, there's some syntax, but yeah, no, from entities, import entity is fine. So player is of type character, and I think what would be interesting is if all characters can move. So we should be able to lift this code here and put it over into character. So this would allow us to create characters that aren't the player that would still move. Cool. So we should be able to, and now we can just delete this move code. And our player character is getting more simple. Evram says, I think you should be taking out that pass. No, I need the, yeah, that pass right there doesn't do anything. You're right. Because I'm not, yeah, it doesn't do anything. Yep. This one does though, because there's no implementation. But because we have a method here, we can get rid of it. Cool. Let me see. So player. So this all still should work. Yep. Scene is not defined. So this is in character.py. Yeah. So up here we import scene. So we need to do that up here. Let me just kind of clean up my imports a little bit. There we go. Cool. And I don't think we use scene it here at all now, right? Nope. So now this ought to work. Cool. Yes, it does. And then now I think we should be able to create entities at random. Now we should be able to say something like, just as a temp kind of thing, we should be able to say something like, say ocean equals, say import player, from entities import item, and then potion equals item.item, and let's just say it's lowercase p, and the foreground is equal to 255 0 255. Get a magenta potion, and self dot entities dot append potion. I probably want to switch this around with the player, because we want the player to always draw on top. So that ordering is important. That should, and also say potion dot position equals 20, 20. So put it out there in the middle of the map. Okay. No, I misspelled it. What's the complaint about that? Yep. There we go. Foreground or background must be a 3-item tuple. Ellipses or no. Oh, I made it a string for some odd reason. I'm not sure why I did that. Oh, Joshua, come on. It needs to be a triple. Motion dot position equals. Interesting. That is really curious. I think I'd do some debugging here in Visual Studio Code, actually. Maybe. I hit a 5. Think it's debugging? Maybe. So I think maybe. Do I need to implement the constructor or no? I thought all entities have position. They should have a position. And I don't know what this, yeah, this debug did not work. Oh, Joshua. Yep. Item has no attribute handle events. Oh yeah. I guess entities should probably also handle events as well. I think that's something that all entities probably ought to do. Because I think in our main loop in the scene, we are calling handle events on all the entities, so that makes sense. I forgot about that. There we go. Now we have our magenta potion that we can go down and not pick up, because that's not implemented, but it does. It's there, and we can walk around it. So that's cool. Let me say git status. We made quite a few changes. We've added player scene, and we've added a bunch of stuff to entities. kind of restructured that a little bit. Let me just make a commit real quick. Or git add dot get status. So yeah, git commit dash m working on entity. I always mess up spelling hierarchy. HEIRARCY. We'll just say basic. Okay, push that out to the repo. Cool. Oh, Evram is saying that potions are indicated by exclamation point. Sometimes I think it depends on the roguelike. But yeah, that's also. I mean, it's easy enough to change right here, right? You can do that there, and you can run it. Now it's. Except for my font has a really weird concept of exclamation point. There's something goofed up with my font. Yeah, it looks like it's chopping off the bottom. Is how big? 512 by 512. That should be correct. Weird. Very weird. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, so let me go ahead and clean up this potion because we don't necessarily always want the potion. We do always want the player, and we always want the level. This is the draw code. We have check collision code. I think the check collision code actually should also work for just characters in general, right? Yeah. There we go. Okay, got 30 minutes. So I think it would be interesting to try to implement a monster, but I think the thing that's kind of stopping us right now is basically in a roguelike, the player controls the time step usually. So usually the world freezes until the player makes a move, and then everything will take their move. Which makes me think I might need to write just a simple little event system, maybe. Yeah, something to hook into update. Maybe the player does something special when it actually performs a move. Yeah. So I could do something like def move, self and x and y, and then I just say super move x y. And then now I can add some special stuff. So right now I can say print players special player moved. So we can still move, and it also is printing out player move, because basically we want to say that when the player performs any action, really, that we need to fire off an event to everything listening for the update saying, okay, go ahead and update yourself. ever suggesting a turn intent. Something like that. I mean, I guess it also, you have to get into the whole concept, like if you bump against a wall, does that count as a turn? Does it not count as a turn? Yeah, let me just write a small little, like a subscriber notifier system, and that probably will be the remainder of today. Let's just create a new file called event events.py. How are we going to do this? We want a way to subscribe and to notify. Do I want to just? I can just do it as a module, or I can do it as a class. I'm not sure which way is cleaner. But let me just start with a class, which is probably okay. So class event, which is an object, and let's give it a yeah, we'll just give it a class method called events. Let's say that's a let's say it's a dictionary, because I want to say it's something like a static method. Or no, class method is what I want. Class method, and then something like def subscribe, and we want to subscribe to a particular message. So something like, it should look something like, let me just maybe implement it over here in so say import event, lowercase e, it's the module. Okay. And here I want to say something like event.subscribe, or events. Yeah, I need to straighten out my names. Subscribe, and then I'm going to say I want to subscribe to the update message, and self.update is what you need to call. I think a signature like that would be fine. So I need a message and a callback. And then I could simply say if message in events, or in class.events, class.events at message.append callback. So Lord Bourne says, would the use of decorators be good choice for subscribing? Like, I've tried that in the past, and the problem is the decorator gets called. Maybe I've tried to do that in the past, and I've had trouble getting it to work correctly. But that was also probably a year or two ago, so maybe I potentially could. But right now, it might be easier just for me to implement it this way. We can always go back and do it cleaner in the future. But my intention is really to keep this series short. I want to make just a small game over my lunch hour, maybe just for a few weeks at a time, and then we'll see how that goes. I don't want to do this indefinite, and I want to be able to have a thing done. So I'm trying to keep it simple and go fast. And hello as well. Thanks for popping by. Else cls.events at message equals a new list, and CLS. Actually, I can just initialize it with the callback in there, right? Python. So def foo return var foo a equals foo, and then a is, yep, so a at 0. There we go. Cool. So that is totally a fine thing to do. So basically what this lets us do is subscribe to this update message. Yep, so it's a dictionary. If it has this message in it already, add this callback. Otherwise, create a new list with this callback in it. And then the other side of that is just a simple notify. So def notify class and message and args, quargs. Is that something I can do? And then for func and self.callback at message, func args quargs. I think that ought to do what I think it should do, but let's test this. Yeah, no, the whole intention is to keep this small in scope and to do something fun and different over my lunch break, rather than just stuff my face and just surf the net. Cool, so I need to test this. I guess I could just have, I can, yeah, Evrim is doubtful. So self.update. Is Python create an instance of the function for each class? What do you mean? Are you talking about the subscribe thing, the self.update? When this gets invoked, the first param should be the self of the instance. It should just get passed along. And yeah, let's test this out. So we'll just do a test. We'll call this MSG here, or arg1. We'll just do arg1 real quick. And this is just going to be print arg1. And then down here, we're going to say event.notify update. And we're going to just say moved up. Moved down, moved left, and moved right. Cool. So let's see what I goofed up. Let's do this. Game.py. Self is not defined. Self.callback message. Class. Duh, it's a class method, Joshua. Type event has no attribute callback. Why am I being such a dummy? So for every function in the class attribute events, man, PyCharm has definitely broken my ability to remember stuff. There we go. The downside of making this so big is it's really hard to see. It'd also be nice to have an in-game console as well. So that is doing what we think it's going to do. Let's also Evrim Yeah, so Lordborn says, why not use PyCharm? Yeah, I was using VS Code because the project was meant to stay simple, and PyCharm allows me to explode at complexity, so I'm trying to maybe limit myself that way. Yeah, I'm gonna try to stick to a like a specific like set of tools for one for this little series. Or this I guess I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to stick with VS Code as long as I can. Hopefully, it'll make me a more mindful Python programmer. So it looks like our little event system is working as expected, but Evrim has concerns about this, like the potion being knowing about yeah. So also let's do print self. And then just really quickly for the item, let's just add this as well. Def init. And we need to pass in self. And I think it's car fg equals this, and bg is also a triple, and this background is just black, and the foreground is just white. And then I need a colon and super.init char fgbg. I think also I need to, I think this also has a, yeah, let me just copy the signature here because I'm definitely messing up the position param as well. Position. There we go. Yep. So Evrim, I am going to have the item listen to this as well. So this is just temporary stuff though. So import event and events.event.subscribe to update and self.update and def update self comma, I think it's expecting, I think player is expecting just a arg1, yeah, arg1. So then I could just copy the implementation from the player. Let's also put that in the update not there because that was incorrect. And I think it'd be better if I also move this. I think that's why I even just I did this in the first place. Was to make it so I could specialize the move for the character, so I could notify on the events on a move. Character moved. Say player moved. So event is not a singleton. It's a class that has no instance attributes. Right now they're two class methods and that's it. No, yeah, if you can learn a little bit about Python, it's also kind of the point of this series. Yeah, so this should update that. And then I can copy this implementation and put it over here in update. And in scene, I should be able to add that potion back. So p equals item.item. And I want it to be, I guess, exclamation point is the potion. And like I say, position also, right? Position is 10, 10. and the foreground color. Let's just again make it magenta. And then actually just do. I can just do it like this. I can just append it directly because I don't need to keep a ref around to it at all. Okay, moment of truth. And then, so we have the player. So the item is acknowledging the player movement, and the player is acknowledging the player movement, which is handy. Yeah, so Evan brought up a good point. It would probably be good for us to also add an unsubscribe, maybe, because if we do clean up, the entity, it would be nice for us to have a way to also stop listening for events. But for this, I can just simplify this down to this again, just to satisfy our curiosity, to make sure things are working the way we want them to work. I can just say pass. Right now, I don't even need to send I don't even need to send any args for this. I can just call update, and this will invoke everybody's update, which is probably okay for the time being. Yeah, so Evrim, I can also at a class level, so like we could just say something like event.event or events.event.events equals boom, and that would blow away all of the subscribers that we have and all the events. So there are ways of doing that. Yeah, I guess having an unsubscribe would be nice too. So let's just add that real quick. It should be kind of the opposite. At class method def unsubscribe and class and message and callback. Because callback is how we actually find. Yeah, this whole name stuff is going to need to be reworked. Let's do something like if message in class.events, and then I think, can we pop from a list? Does that make sense? Python. A equals 1, 2, 3, 5. A dot pop 4. A. Yeah. So that was the a dot pop a dot index 2. A. There we go. That's what I really want. Index equals events at message dot index of callback. So this should be a dot index of 5. Oh yeah, it throws an error. So we just do a try then. Try class dot events dot or at message dot pop class dot events dot or at message dot index of callback. Then we do an accept. weird that it doesn't, and value error, except value error. And we can just pass for now because this should happen if we try to unsubscribe and we're not subscribed to it. So Evram says, you may want to add a method to unsubscribe all the listeners of an entity. That's true too. Yeah. Yeah, right now this is a pretty general one. You're not actually listening to, like, you're just listening to all the it's like a global kind of broadcast. You're not listening to specific. Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. So you could also manually do it too. You could just say events at update equals, and you can just blow it away that way as well. Cool. That should be okay. Okay. Let me see. I'm getting short on time, so let's make sure this is in a good spot. Make sure it runs. Yep, that seems to be working okay. Let's do a git status. Let me just think of a different name for this. This is this is a dictionary that maps messages to callbacks. Abram says an item that's picked up no longer has a physical existence and part of the level must not. I mean, it can or it doesn't. I mean, that's yes and no depending upon what you want to do implementation wise. Because there's some things you still may want to have them react even though they're in your inventory. Let me do a git diff. Yep, events. Leaving that exclamation point in there is fine. It's something to look at. Yeah, it's not a huge amount of changes in this one. I just don't like the name of this. Let's call it like message map dict something. Oh man, I hate naming things. I think event's gonna have to be okay for the time being. I guess part of this is also moving fast. So we have a simple little event system. Let me just, I guess, commit that. Actually, let me just python game.py. This still works. I'm not sure why this is cut off though. It's kind of bugging me. Yeah. Subscribe notify system. Cool. Yeah, and I have 5 minutes. Yeah, I think I know what I can do in 5 minutes maybe, or this might go slightly a little bit long, but I want to start actually, new file, pal et .py. I want to have some better control over my palette, and I've been thinking, I think the Pico 8 palette is pretty cool. It's nice and bright, PALETT. And I like bright colors, and I'm pretty sure I can just get the values pretty easy. So let's say we'll just keep this at just a module. Say colors equals, and it's just going to be a bunch of triples, right? It's going to be a sequence of triples. It's in hex. Good palette, RGB. There we go, that's what I wanted. Let's just kind of snap these here and I can just quickly take them down. So the first one is 0, 0, 0. VS Code's not liking my. Are these actually selectable? They are. I thought that was just a graphic, but no, it's not. Let me see if I can just quickly. Yeah, let's not goof with that. Let's just do this Sublime text. Then I can real quick. There we go. Copy all that out and paste that. Let's just switch this over to Python, and then there we go. Yeah, I prefer Sublime text for multi. Yeah, hopefully this won't goop up. I could have swore, oh yeah, VS Code supports it, but you have to control click, which is not as nice as just being able to like control drag, which is how I would have preferred to have done it. There we go. Really quick. Yeah. And then what I want to do is have a. Are you folks okay with me going a little bit over? If not, I will keep it at 1 hour. So let me try def get nearest and color RGB equals color. Get nearest color, so for C in colors, D I think for color deltas, I think it's okay if you just do nearest for the time being. Also, color cache equals, then something like if color in color cache return color cache at color. So we don't want to keep calculating distances. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's probably easiest is just like RGB equals color for C in colors. What's the fastest way to do this? So what I want to do, Evram, is I'm going to map out like the basic console stuff. So like console colors. Yeah. So these colors are all kind of standard, where you could say like, I want to say something like black equals get nearest of, and then whatever these are defined for the console. And then I could switch out the underlying palette, and that would be 0, 0, 0. So you would still have the basic like 16 console colors. You might have more than that, but this will just quickly pull through those. Like I'm pretty sure these are 1, 2. Let me just copy these. I'm not sure if there's a difference between gray and gray, but whatever. Tools, selection, or edit, convert case to uppercase. Equals get nearest of some value. True. But then you can always just manually drop into the palette and grab that too, Evram. But right now, this is just a quick way to do it. For scene colors, say this is bad. R2, G2, B2 equals C. Dist equals R2 minus R. Squared plus, yeah, that should just be that. Squared plus squared, and G2 minus G, B2 minus B. Dist equals something large. This needs to be closest. The closest dist. R2 R, G2 G, B2 B. If dist less than closest dist, closest dist equals dist. result equals none, or result can be colors at 0. Now I could say result equals C. Return result. So how bad did I goof that up? Okay, so we also need to cache this color too, right? Color cache at color equals results. There we go. So this is to shortcut all these calculations if we keep calling for the same values. Let me just real quick. Let me just comment these out. Okay. We could just say something like in player import palette, and foreground equals palette dot get nearest to red. Yeah, VS Code is not very great with handling parentheses, it looks like. Get nearest is not defined. Oh, because I probably need to say palette.get nearest, palette def get nearest. This should be there. Yeah, that seems to be okay. Oh, why is pulling out black dot get nearest is not? Oh, because it's not defined. Because this is ordinal. Because the ordering does matter on this. There we go. Get nearest takes one position longer if you are given. Player. Yeah. There we go. And now we're using the Pico red, which you can kind of tell, kind of not tell. Cool. So let's just look at the console colors and just get those in default console colors. I guess every console defines them as different values as well. Yeah, so you should be able to drop in this palette.colors as whatever you want. Let me see if I change in our scene again here, this item. Import palette and palette.get nearest. And then you just there we go. I should also update that one. Yep. So I can do I want to force people to, I think I want to force a palette. So what I can do now is just get rid of that stuff. And then character. I want to even just down all the way down into entity. Entity should be the one that handles that. Import palette, and then palette.get nearest, wherever the foreground is, whatever the background is. There we go. Then player doesn't have to worry about this anymore. They can just pass in there we go. Whoa. The background is also being set to the same color because I copied and pasted error. Yeah. Way to go. There we go. Cool. Cool. Evrim is sad about forcing a palette, but that's okay. Again, this is just quick and fast code, and I'm over my time, but I really want to quickly. But yeah, he provided me this, so let's just get this done and then check this in and call it a day. So these are the, yeah, I guess CMD is fine, and they should have black, red, green, yellow, blue, magenta, cyan, white. There seems to be no gray. There are light and dark versions of, or normal and bright. Yeah, so let's see if we can just copy this over real quick and be done with it. Yeah. This red is 128.0.0. 0, 128.0. Yellow 17 or 128.0. Blue is 0, 0, 128. Magenta 28, 0, 128. These colors are just, I mean, the colors, I guess, make sense. They're just ugly. Cyan 0, 128, 128. White. Is 192, 192. Or wait, 192, 12, 19 or 2. There we go. Then I could just simply say, that's fine. In scene, Or in here. And player. Yikes. Yeah. As Evan predicted, it's not super great. That's okay. I can tweak this, I guess, in the future. So it looks like yeah. We just undo that. I think bright red is probably what it wants. I didn't see. All right, yeah, I'm 15 minutes over. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Then you have the bright versions of all that, which would work as I expect, probably. Let me just add those in. This is 128, 128, 128. This is 255,000. This is bright green, which is, yeah, these are just, these values are 255. They're just all the way maxed out. Yep. But now this should behave as I expect. The player is well, yeah, and there and Evrim is yeah, I'm not sure if it should be bright and normal or bright and dark. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this is an okay start, and this all should be. Oh, the colors are still janky. Did I not define bright red? Weird. It's strange. Did not flare it. Oh, duh. These are just shortcuts too. Yeah, I think, yeah, Evrim has a good point too. If you don't want to use that, let's just go back to entity and let's just not force it. Let's just say, if you want to use whatever colors, you can, but yeah, this should look exactly the same. Yep, cool. If they're janky, it's your fault. Cool, so I'm already 20 minutes over. Let me go ahead and save this progress and I'll call it a day. So apologies for going over my lunch hour. Or palette. Entity doesn't use palette anymore, so we can clean up that import. Palette bright red for the player is fine. We do use palette and scene, and that is fine. Git add dot git commit dash m basic palette system Git push origin. Git status, cool. Git tag. Git tag -a ep4. No, I don't want to be in Vim. Git tag -a ep4 -m. I have to use double quotes too. E4 -m episode. Git push --tags. Cool. That should be good, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me a little bit extra today. Have a good lunch break, and I will see you tomorrow.